Hey there fellow riders, welcome back to The Pilot Rider. I'm Tiz, and today we're going to talk about mastering the basic techniques with lessons inspired from aviation. So for those that don't know me, I am a flight instructor and a pilot. So I'm going to use some of the lessons I've learned in aviation to help you master some of these techniques.
Just myself butting in on this video. So this video is indeed about motorcycle techniques. How I've also added two more elements which I believe are really important to know but aren't necessarily motorcycle techniques themselves. So make sure to stick around towards the end of the video where I give these two key elements as well. Now back to it.
So your motorcycle doesn't just need fuel, it also needs finesse. So I'm going to give you some of the tools today that you can actually use on your next ride in order for you to implement and get you improving those skills little bit by bit and becoming a better rider overall. Let's get started. So first up, I'm going to talk about three key aviation principles that we go by, and that's aviate, navigate, and communicate. So to reference this video and make it a little bit easier for you to understand and relate back to motorcycling, I'm going to talk about attitude, performance, and navigation. So these same principles from aviation can dramatically improve your riding experience. So whether you're looping around that corner or just trying to beat that chicken that thinks it can beat you across the road, these are techniques that's going to help you stay in control of your motorcycle, keep you upright, and make you a safer rider. Let's talk about attitude. Now, I don't mean attitude as in your typical teenage angst. I mean attitude in relation for aviation specifically. It's where the aircraft is oriented in the sky and the pitch of the aircraft. Between the is the distance between the nose and the horizon specifically, and we call that the nose attitude. Now, for us bikers, we can reference attitude to being the body position on the bike. Remember, you've got to lean into the turns. Don't lean in the opposite direction. If you want to turn smoothly, you have to mirror the bike. So if the bike's leaning in, you've got to lean in. However, in saying that, you have to lead the bike. Don't let the bike lead you. It's a bit like a tango, if you know that dance. You've got to take the lead. You've got to be graceful with the bike. Don't force the bike into certain positions. Work with the bike, and that's the number one key thing. So attitude is your body position on the bike. Work with the bike. Now, usually a good thing when you are just wanting to turn your motorcycle is naturally, without thinking about it, for most beginners, is that if you think about leaning or where you want to go and looking where you want to go, the bike is automatically going to turn as well. You can also use a technique which everyone does pretty much unconsciously unless you're specifically aware of it, is counter steering, and that's when you actually push against the bars to turn where you want. So rather than, if you'd say you want to do a left turn, you don't pull that left bar towards you, you actually push it away from you, and that is what leans the bike. There's a lot more other videos in depth on counter steering, and I do recommend you search up some videos on YouTube to help you understand that. Now let's focus on performance, and when I'm talking about performance, I'm going to be talking specifically about throttle application. Now, throttle application in an aircraft is critical for stable flight. You're not wanting to be constantly going from full to low power and everywhere in between. It's not going to be helpful for you or passengers in the aircraft. However, in motorcycling, the same rule applies. You've got to be smooth with your throttle. Too much throttle and you feel like you're trying to take off before you even left the runway. Too little throttle and you're going to feel like you're stalled like an old wee Cessna. Now, in motorcycling, too much throttle straight off the bat, you can risk actually wheeling the bike if you have a bike that has a fair bit of power. And too little throttle, you can obviously stall your bike or you're not actually going to get anywhere. So throttle application is key. You have to be smooth on that throttle. So for your throttle, you've got to find that sweet spot. When you're in the middle of a corner, you don't want to be hammering all that throttle, and especially when you're at your maximum lean at that point in time, you're just asking to lose traction and therefore risking a low side and a crash. What you want to do is you want to learn the throttle and how much is required to get you where you need to be safely and get the bike to do what you want it to do specifically. Now you have to, like I mentioned in that first point, is you've got to dance with the bike. Don't force the bike into things that it doesn't want to do. Otherwise the bike will be in control and you'll be the passenger on the bike. Finally, let's discuss navigation. Now, navigation is a pilot's situational awareness. Navigation, yes, in the general sense, is going from point A to point B. However, we really have to be situationally aware in order to get from point A to point B. Same for us motorcyclists as well. We have to be aware on the roads. We can't just be ignorant to everything happening around us, because that's when cars can come out and dangerous things can happen. That's when you can get chickens running across the road and you're not paying attention and you strike a chicken, which is what you don't want. Never know, you could get you could get a surprise attack from an angry ninja squirrel. So you have to be situationally aware, and how you can implement this in terms of being more aware is just constantly be ahead of the motorcycle. So don't try to be reactive, be proactive in what you can anticipate. So if you know you're coming up to, for example, an intersection, you can anticipate there could be a car just shooting through. There could be, if you're going to a congested area in the city, you can anticipate maybe some oil patches on the road. So you have to be ahead of the bike and ahead of your own surroundings, because if you're waiting and being reactive, that's when you can get caught out. Use your mirrors, look ahead, check your blind spots, so do those head checks as well. It's a bit like when you're learning to drive. If you haven't got your driver's license yet, well, and this is your first vehicle on the roads, head checks are a big thing. Same with flying, head checks are massive. We actually scan all the time in the skies because we don't have anything alerting to us where another aircraft could potentially be. Now let's face it, nobody likes being tooted at by a car that thinks you've got eyes on the back of your head. Now, a big reason pilots get into learning how to fly a plane is because they do it because they love it and they enjoy it. For me personally, I wanted to get into it after my previous career, so it's not the first thing I've done, but I wanted to get into it because I loved doing it. And that's the same for us motorcyclists as well. We obviously have a motorbike because we love to ride, so you've got to bring and remember the fun that you're having on this vehicle, because if it becomes a chore, it's then no longer fun, right? So you do it because you love it. So make sure you go out there, do rides that you enjoy. Now, I want to talk briefly on commuting as well. So using a motorcycle to commute is fantastic, and I've done that too, and I still do that. 450 kilometers per week is what I travel when commuting on the motorcycle. And what can happen when you commute all the time is you can lose that kind of spark for it. Now, I actually personally look forward to commuting on the bike, and a lot of other people do as well. But if it's your sole means of transport and it's all you do every time you get on the bike is commute and not actually enjoy other rides, it can lose its spark. So make sure that you do those other rides that makes you remember why you're doing it. Now, it's not the case for everyone, but if you feel like you are losing that spark a little bit because you're commuting all the time, just make sure to go out, have a bit of fun, ride with some friends, bring yourself back to remembering why you got started in the first place. Now, don't you dare succumb to the pressure of group rides. Now, I'm not saying don't do group rides. By all means, go out and have fun, do those group rides. But more often than not, especially when you're new to motorcycling, is because you're riding with people who have a lot more experience, is you feel pressured to keep up with them, not taking into mind the fact that you don't have that experience that they do. So what will generally happen, what I see happen as well, is people, beginners especially, you get better, you start taking corners a bit quicker, that confidence comes really quick, and this is from my own experience as well. You get a lot more confident than what your actual ability allows you to do on the motorcycle. You end in coming too hot for a corner, and then it can either low side, high side, hopefully not high side because they can end up pretty bad, and fall off of the bike on the bike. So with that, make sure you ride your own ride. Don't succumb to pressure of keeping up with others. Stick to the back of the group. If you stick to the back, you're not going to have that pressure of feeling like someone's behind you and right on your tail and you've got to push past your limits. Keep within your limits, but you want to explore that comfort zone. Just edge it a little bit further every time. and that's how you get better. But don't you dare succumb to pressure from a group ride. If you do, then I'm going to give you a slap on the wrist. Alright everyone, so to recap, attitude, make sure to smoothly lean into those corners, work with the bike. Performance, control that throttle hand, be smooth with it, that's super important. Navigation, be situationally aware, use that situational awareness to keep yourself safe on the roads. And just enjoy, make sure you have fun, really enjoy what you're doing and why you're riding, and exploring different avenues of motorcycling. That is why we get into it, and that is why I do it, and is why you are doing it. And lastly, those group rides, like I just mentioned, do not succumb to pressure from others to go past your own limits. So ride your own ride and you'll get better every time. Stick to the back of a group. You're all going to end up at the same destination, some quicker than others. It really does not matter. Mastering these techniques require practice, just like any skill in flying. So go out there, hit the road and apply these lessons from aviation. Remember, fine-tuning your skills just isn't about looking cool. However, it certainly does help. It's all about becoming a more confident and capable rider. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today on this video. So thanks for watching, and if you got value from these aviation inspired tips, then make sure to like the video and subscribe for more pilot inspired wisdom. Share some of your own stories of motorcycle mastery in the comments below. And until the next video, make sure you ride safe, and I will see all of you next time. Catch you later.